Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. I'm your host, Travis Reed, and today I got another special guest, another one of those California legends, if you want to say, you know what I'm saying, somebody who story need to be told for future generations of California people, who is doing his thing right now, being assistant coach for the Los Angeles Clippers. Um, like I said, he's a little bit younger than me, but like I said, he'll tell you his story of how he became a coach, and he moved up fast. I was like, I saw him on a bench in a playoff game. I'm like, oh, he doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? And I see him working out the big man. I'm like, okay. So like I said, just somebody who I watched him, kind of grow up because he was a little bit younger than me, and I saw his game develop to what it became. And I was always curious of like what happened when he got older. So definitely wanted to get him on the show. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's going on? My name is Chad Bell. I'm an assistant coach with the LA Clippers, specializing in player development.
See, all right. Well, we're going to get right into it, Chad, man. You know what I'm saying? How did your basketball journey start?
Man, it started so long ago. I feel like with my basketball journey, just growing up in Inglewood, California, growing up, playing AAU basketball, playing with AAU organization called VBA and top prospects and then going on to go play at Westchester High School where I played with some really good players and we had some really good teams. So my journey started back, when I was about, 13 years old from an organized standpoint. But even before that, it just started in the neighborhood, just playing around the neighborhood and, the homies' driveway or, like up at elementary schools, middle schools, up at the park, so that's kind of how I came up, just, playing with my friends in the neighborhood that I grew up with. And then I was a little bit later than some guys because I knew some guys played at a very young age, organized basketball, but I really didn't get into it till I was about, 12 or 13. So that's kind of how I came up. And, I started out just trying to learn the game, from an organized standpoint. I was always was the tallest on the team or whatever. So, I was what you call kind of a late bloomer. But if you look at it, I kind of came up pretty fast considering that I hadn't played that long from an organized standpoint. And I just kept getting better. I became one of the better, post players in my class and in my area. And I thought like each and every year I just, started getting better. So I ended up, my whole goal was when I played, actually was just to get a Division I scholarship. I knew a lot of people back then they didn't even think, much of myself because it was so many cats coming up, but I just kept chipping away. My goal was to get a Division I scholarship and I did that. I spent my first 2 years at the University of New Mexico. My recruiting coming out of high school was unbelievable, but I always had in my mind that I wanted to go to a mid-major and make a big splash. So I did that. I played for 2 years in New Mexico, and then I transferred to the University of Nevada, where we had some really good teams, made some deep tournament runs, and I had a great experience and was able to help myself after that and, have opportunities to play in the NBA Summer League and have some NBA workouts and also play overseas in, Romania, play in the NBA. Then it was called the D League, the Development League. Now it's called the G League. So I had some different experiences, all of us, we all dream, to have a chance at that ultimate goal when we get to that point. Obviously for me, I didn't get to that point, to the pinnacle, but I saw it, I was in the atmosphere. So, and now, the way I look at it now, I'm coaching on that level. So I did make it. So after I got done playing, I just, really spent some time trying to decide what I wanted to do. And eventually I got into coaching.
Okay. Well, we will wind a little bit back. You know, that was like the Cliff Notes version of your career.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna go back a little bit. Were you interested in any other sports growing up, or was it just basketball growing up?
It was basketball, man. I knew
Yeah,
I knew right away. I knew right away. And most people would be like, "Well, you was tall, so that wasn't just it, man." I just thought like, when I was coming up, I was raised by my mother. Shout out to my mother, Peggy Bell. I was raised in a single parent household coming up, and we would watch Lakers. So like when she turned that on, that piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw, watching TV. Remember back in the day, we'll watch K-Cal 9.
Yeah, yeah, of course, man.
We'll watch the game. So I saw Magic Johnson, and I was just like, damn, like this is what I want to do. I want to play basketball. So that like piqued my interest. So I was really into just, watching, the Lakers on KCAL 9. They put those games, their away games on the KCAL 9 network. So that kind of like piqued my interest. And from there, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do.
I got you. I got you. Now you said you played obviously for BBA back then, obviously Pat Bear team, right?
Now, during that time, I think that was probably after Pat. That was like right when I came along. Pat had started Southern California All Stars
Oh
already.
yeah, it
So
was
so when
who
I
was
came along with
BBA?
VBA, it was Dart Stamps,
Oh,
and I think
Darts team.
that
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because I think prior to me arriving, Dart and Pat did have a AAU club together, and then they split. I
Yeah.
believe. I
No,
could I
that's
could be.
exactly what happened. That was my senior year, going into
Yeah.
my senior year. What happened was SoCal Hoops was Pat, and then like I said, VBA was Dart. Because Dart took me, Barron, Tayshaun Prince, Aaron Maxey, Capono, Brandon Granville, I forgot who else. I want to say Jaron Collins, and then Pat took Shea, Kenny Bruner, Jason Thomas, all of them, Burgess, so they was like a split of the California team. Now imagine if all of us played together, which was
Yeah, it would have
crazy.
been crazy.
So
Yeah, because I seen you guys play a part, and it was crazy.
yeah, so I
So
said we beat Riverside Church with Dart, yeah, with when they had Ron Artest and Elm Brand up at Long
up
Beach in
at
the
Long
NIT.
Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We beat
yeah.
them
So
at
I tell people this story all the time. So I was at that game. I was
okay,
watching that
okay.
game. So I never forget all the hype behind Riverside Church. They came in, they were loaded. I was young. I was probably, I think I was like in seventh grade, something like that. And I just remember that game. You guys just battled, man. You guys went to work,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
especially I felt like you and Barron had a thing that game.
Yeah.
The way you guys played, and I mean they came out to LA and y'all brought it to them. And I
No,
still brag about that game because people
I
sleep on that team because I don't think you guys were really favored to win, but you did,
hmm
and
hmm
it was like it's one of my personal favorite AU moments, just being
No,
able to watch that game.
no,
So
I remember that because the Final Four that year in the NIT was SoCal Hoops with Shea and them. The other New York team with Lamar Odom and Khalil Al-Amin, and
hmm
us, and then Riverside Church. Everybody thought it was going to be like a New York versus New York final because
yeah,
Church they didn't lose for like 2 years in the
I
summer
know.
league. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, the SoCal just lost. Y'all about to get y'all ass whooped." You know what I'm saying? By Church. He was like, okay, okay, so they was talking shit. you know, like I said, me and Baron, like, you know, Baron went to work, and I was just like, I'm gonna just finish everything. Baron's
Oh
beating.
man, you was cleaning up everything around the basket. And I was inspired by that, bro, because I was like, man, you know what? I want to be like Trav. I like the way he play. He play tough. He's physical. I was like, yeah, I want to be like that. That's why I'm saying in the beginning of our conversation, that kind of motivated me. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate that, bro. You did. I don't know if you knew it, but you was motivating me during that
No, I never knew, bro. I appreciate it,
time.
bro. Appreciate the love, man. So
Yeah.
obviously you played AAU and you're one of the top players coming out. Why'd you choose Westchester to go to in high school?
Well, at the time, you was there, so I always, people don't know this, I always wanted to go to Crenshaw. I always wanted to go to
Mm-hmm.
Crenshaw.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
even like when you was younger and you was playing with Chris and those guys,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I would read about you guys in the paper. I would see you guys around in your Crenshaw gear and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, like I really want to go to Crenshaw like this. It just meant something. You go in the gym, all those banners, you
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm.
Coach Willie West, I mean, he's a legend. We all know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I always felt that's where it was meant for me to go. But for whatever reason, it didn't work out that way. And Westchester was a program that was it was starting to reach the level where it could possibly compete with Crenshaw because Crenshaw was dominating the city.
Yep, yep,
So
yep, yep.
it got to a point where a lot of players started going to Westchester, and it was a different direction than Crenshaw. And I just think that my mom was at the time really comfortable with what Westchester was doing with their program, and then also she liked the dynamic of the school in terms of the demographics and stuff like that. And she just felt more comfortable at the time, so I rolled with it, and it ended up working out. A lot of players at that time from the TPI Top Prospects program ended up going there. Guys like Brandon Heath, guys like Keith Everidge. At the time, early on, guys like Jason McKinney, J Mac, uh, guys from other programs too, like Ashanti Cook. He was my point guard. He ended up going on to play at Georgetown. They were going there too. So I really
Mm-hmm.
felt good about the decision once I knew, okay, my guys, they're here. So that's kind of how that came about. But if it was solely left up to me and my mom allowed me to just make that decision on my own, I would have ended up at Crenshaw. A lot of people don't know that story.
No, so that's what I'm saying. I didn't know that. Like Crenshaw was the school. Obviously, everybody knows. Like back in the day, like if you know California basketball, you know Crenshaw. It was basically like
Mm-hmm.
Lakers high school.
Facts, facts.
And so like everybody knows. Like I won freshman. I was on a freshman with the team that won state, and then they ended up winning two more state after I left. So like. I always get like shit from Bean and them all the time. They be like, "Nigga, you could have stayed and got four states and four cities." But I was
I
like, "Bro,
know, I
bro, I might
know,
not have
bro.
graduated high school, bro. I was messing up in
Yeah,
school. My mind was on the
yeah,
girls, so you
yeah.
know." But so yeah, like I said, like that's cool. I remember Westchester, like right after we left, right after Crenshaw senior year, '97. Westchester had all those transfers, Blumenthal and
hmm
Granville, and they end up winning city or state that year, I think in '98, and then obviously when you start coming and other players, they had it on the roll for a minute. Um, so obviously you're one of the top players in the state, going to one of the top schools in the state. You had a lot of success at Westchester. What was your most memorable moment in high school?
I would probably say, being able to just play on that team with those group of guys, having that much talent on one team. And honestly, one of the things I enjoyed is just the experience in terms of we were close. We were a close knit group. Like we did everything together. Like not just basketball, but off the court too. You know, like we
mhm.
hung out at each other's house, playing video games, going to the mall. You know, we really were like family. So that experience in itself, you know, wrapped up in one was just the best part about it. And of course, like basketballs are obvious. You know, we won and played at a high level, nationally ranked teams. You know, we won city championships. Uh, you know, so but for me, it was a camaraderie, and you know, to this day, we're all pretty tight. Last night, I watched a fight at Keith Everidge house. You know, and
Mm,
I've known him for damn near 30 years.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
you know, it's just having that you know, that brotherhood, man. That was the best part about it, you know, and then all the stuff that came with it.
All right. So what was your, like you said, your recruiting process was extensive. What made you choose New Mexico State?
Well, I went to the University of New Mexico.
I mean, University of New Mexico. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, that's something.
yeah. So with my recruiting, like I felt like my junior year, my game just took off. So when it took off, uh, my recruiting took off. So, but before it even took off, the University of New Mexico, shout out to Fran Fraschilla, ESPN. He was a coach at the time. From the jump, he was recruiting me, and he was recruiting me hard. You know, back then it was letters. Letters was everything.
Yeah.
So they were sending me letters every day, written letters every day. Every time the evaluation period came up, he was at every single game I played in. Every single time he could see me, he was there. Single time that he was allowed to give me a call, he called. And I felt like during the whole process, he was always there and steady. And he was very transparent in the recruitment, you know, and the plans for me.
Mhm.
And his vision for me in his program matched with what I had inside of my mind. So for me, it was easy. You know, a lot of people during that time, you know, I was recruited by Memphis, North Carolina, Kentucky, programs like that. You know, they looked at it as like, well, why would you go to New Mexico when you go to those places? But how I saw it was, it's just the vision that the coach had for me in the program and the players that they had in place. It just
Mhm.
made sense for me. So in the end, I don't regret any decision I made. I thought it was a good one. My freshman year, I started as a true freshman. You know,
Mm.
a lot of people didn't think that would happen, but I did. But I saw it. You know, and you know, it really worked out. You know, but everything happens for a reason. Fran ends up leaving after my freshman year. The program changed a little bit, but initially coming out, like that's why I made that decision.
No, it actually makes sense. Like I always tell anybody, do what makes you happy.
Hmm.
You know, everybody was like, man, you should have went to this or that school, whatever. Like, do it. Like, you ain't going to the school. I gotta go to the school. You know.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying? I
right.
finished at Long Beach State, so I already know. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, after going to UCLA, so I know what you're
Hmm.
talking about. So, what would
Yeah.
you? Since you started as a, you know, obviously a pure freshman. I mean, you had a lot of success early. So, what do you remember about your first year in college?
I just remember how regimented everything was on a daily basis, but at a higher level. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate to go to a high school program in Westchester that was regimented in its own right. But when I got to college, it took it to another level. You know, and one of the things that I focused on when I went to school was building up my strength so that I could compete at the college level because guys were so much stronger. I had saw a lot of talent. You know, we come from LA, so we always around a gang of talent. You know what I'm saying? Whether we playing in a game or if we're going to play pickup somewhere. So like the talent didn't just intimidate me at all. It was just that now you start to play against older young men. So for me, it's just putting on that strength, putting on that muscle. That kind of
Mm-hmm.
stood out for me. So for me, it was perfect because I was so trained and you know putting in that work on a daily basis. So we had really really good coaches. So they pretty much put you in a position to be successful if you follow the plan. You know, easier said than done, but you know that's why coaching is so important. You know, if you get with if these young players get with good coaches, the plan will fall into place if you're willing to put in the work.
You know, I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
You know, like I think coaching means so much, especially at a younger age, to develop the mindset of a player, what he's going to be in the future. Obviously, when he's a
hmm
professional, it's a little bit different. You know, it's a different kind of coaching. But yeah, I definitely agree. So what would you say, what was the hardest thing from college from high school? You know what I'm saying? What was the hardest transition?
The hardest transition is just you're a young man, and when you're a young man, you got so many things going on around you, from
Mm.
basketball to school, juggling your social life, and you're still learning a lot about yourself, who you are as a person. So you know, once you leave and go to college, you know, you're leaving your parents' home. So, you
hmm
know, now you got some people got some freedoms that they might not have before. So it's that temptation to balance your time. So with me, it was time management.
Heck yeah,
Um,
man. Heck yeah.
yeah, so you know, because you got so many things at your fingertips. You know, you young, you got it going, you got a name for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You walk across
hmm
campus, people know who you are, so on and so forth. So for me, it was just kind of taking all that in and seeing everything across the board, and just
mm
learning how to try to manage my time and stay focused and things of that nature. So like, you know, I tell kids all the time, like, once you leave high school, like, the level goes up from your social life. So you got to find a way to be focused, like, because you're gonna get a lot of attention, but how you got to deal with that attention. And I feel like
hmm
I'm one of those people. I'm always gonna keep it real. Like, I didn't do everything to a T. Now I did a lot of good things. I worked my ass off, but you know, we can always go back and do something different, and we never can rewind the clock. But we can also kick game to the youngest that's behind us so that they can not make the mistakes that we made.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah,
Agreed on that,
yeah,
brother. Agreed on that.
yeah.
All right. So you're at obviously New Mexico, right? And obviously the
Mm.
coach leaves. Do you leave after him, or what was your situation like after he coach left?
No, I ended up staying another year because my whole thing was during the time I'm not solely there for the coach. I'm there for the university as well. So, you know, I liked my teammates. You know, I liked the school. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, the new coach came in, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna give this guy a try. And it
Right.
was weird because when he got the job, it was like my first meeting with him was like a recruiting meeting. And I never forget, I cut him off. I said, hey, coach, before you get into this whole little spiel here, I'm not transferring. And he was like, oh, damn. Oh, you want to stay? I was like, yeah, I'm here. Like, when's the work? When we going to start working out?
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So,
right, right, right.
so that, you know, that was cool. And I had an experience with him, you know, with that coach there. And I've run into him since, you know, those days. But, uh, and I ultimately ended up, I'm pretty sure you might ask, I'm sorry for skipping ahead, but I ended up transferring because I just thought it was time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes when a coach comes in, a coach is always going to come in with his plans for the team and his plans for you as an individual. And I just felt at that time that my vision of what I wanted to be in a program and his did not match up. So I wanted to get, you know, out there environment and discover something new. I wish during those days that you could transfer and play right away. You know how that is.
No, trust me, I do too. Trust me, I
but
feel you. It
but
ain't like it is
but
now. Yeah, yeah.
nah. So you know how that is. You left UCLA with the Long Beach State, had to sit out and all that stuff. But once again, I'll continue to say I have no regrets. I had to go through that experience, not just for myself, but for others.
Yep, I agree with you on that. So you end up going to Nevada, right? And obviously you had a lot of success there. What would you say your
hmm
greatest triumph was in college and your greatest failure?
My greatest triumph, I would probably say just getting through that red shirt year. We had a lot of success. Ended up going to the Sweet 16 that year. playing for a great man, a really, really great man, in Trent Johnson. I still have a relationship with him to this day. And he was great with me. He's like a father figure, you know. So he's one of those guys. I don't think he gets uh, enough love, enough recognition in what he's done in his coaching career. But you know, for that, you know, year I had to sit out, like I was in a different place. I'm not able to play. The team is really good. Am I contributing? You know what I'm saying? And me and him had a lot of talks that year, and you know, those talks reassured me. And he was just like, "Look, Chad, you have no idea what you're doing for this team. The scout team, there's not another scout team with a guy like you on it in America." So, you know, and now that I'm coaching, I get it. And then at the time, I'm like, nah, you know, but now that I'm older, I get it. So that was a big test for me, and I would say the biggest failure for me. So at the time, I had every good intention. You know, when I was in school, like in terms of put in the work and all that other stuff. I could have even took it another notch higher, worked a little bit harder, been a little bit more obsessed.
Right.
You know what
No,
I'm
I got
saying?
you. I got you.
You know, once again, like I always mention that social part of your life when you're a young man, you're 20, 21 years old, 19, 21, 22 years old, you're still learning who you are. And
Oh,
sometimes you need to press the brake. Sometimes you need to press go. And you gotta know when to do it and how to do it. So you know, I would definitely look at, you know, it's not a complete failure because I still competed at a high level and all that other stuff. But I think I would have had a lot more individual success, which could have elevated that team higher had I pumped my brakes in certain situations, this, that, and the third, and been a little bit more organized. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's why it's important for guys like you and me, you know, when we get in contact with these dudes to advise them, you know, on how to manage their career. Because the only person that should be managing their career is themselves. Now, it's different now. Like nowadays, a Travis Reed comes out, you're gonna have people that literally is coming up to UCLA and checking on you every day and checking the lists and popping you in the back of the head if you didn't do something because you got a bigger goal in mind. But still, with having that now, they still need to be writing their goals down and having it in front of them and self-checking themselves and that and things of that nature. And you know, I've never got in trouble with the law or anything like that, but it could have been more organized in how I did it. I basically was freelancing it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah, I
yeah,
got you. What would you
yeah.
say what was your biggest lesson that you learned in college?
Man, it's simple, man. Keep working. And one of the things I pride myself on, I didn't have the individual success that I thought I would have in college. But one thing I could say, I became a star in my role. That's one of the first people I ever heard say that, and he probably didn't invent it, is Doc Rivers, the head coach of the
Mm.
Philadelphia 76ers. He talked about guys, you know, you got to accept your role and be a star in it. And if you look at my Nevada career, I averaged like 3 points, 4 points, whatever it is. My minutes will go up and down. You'll see me one night, I look like a pro. One night, I look like just a bench player. But, uh, you know, I accepted my role. You know, I said, okay, I came to this school to win, and that's what I want to do. And my bottom line, Travis, my since I was in AAU, and I swear to you, I tell guys all the time, my
Mhm,
bottom line has always and will always be winning. If we're
mhm.
gonna win, and somebody say, "Hey, Travis has to start every night, and you just have to be his backup," I'm gonna do it.
I got
If
you.
that,
Okay.
you know, that at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me. You know, I play basketball to win. If that just means I only set screens and play defense, so be it. If you need me to score on a block, so be it. If it equals winning, that's what I want to do. So
I got you. I got you. So my next question is obviously you finish your career at Nevada. You go to, they have super success, but you're playing a role on the team. How was getting to the next level? So how was that process for you?
It was very difficult because when you're in college, that's your chance to build your resume when it comes to trying to attract pro opportunities. But luckily for me, one of the positives that I had playing in Nevada, we went to a tournament every year. So I got to play in front of people and people got to notice me because you're going to the tournament and you're watching teams and everybody sees you from the NBA scouts to the overseas scouts. So, I would, give it my all and give it my best. And so I did have opportunities. I still had agents call me. I still had, opportunities come up for me after I finished my senior year to play overseas and stuff like that. And so I was afforded opportunities, and that allowed me to get some NBA workouts with teams. That allowed me to play NBA Summer League with the Atlanta Hawks.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was very fortunate to sign with an agent, a former NBA player by the name of Norm Nixon. Shout
Oh,
out to
of
Norm
course.
Nixon,
Yeah.
man. Great man who really spent time with me the year I came out of school and taught me how to be a pro, taught me how to, the exact thing I need to do every morning in terms of conditioning, in terms of my weights, in terms of my on the court workouts, in terms of going up to UCLA men's gym and playing with the pros. And my game just took off. You looking at a guy whose resume was just okay, but I felt like, excuse my language, nobody could fuck with me when it came to basketball. when it all came down to it, no matter what my resume looked like, and that's kind of the way I played. That those, especially those few years when I first came out of school, to the point where some teams was like, "Damn, like what happened in Nevada? Did you get in trouble? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't
You
understand."
didn't play in
And
Nevada?
yeah,
Why?
yeah. So, but I was like, look, I'm a young man that I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and one of the lessons I learned, to be honest, Travis, I know I'm being long winded.
Mm-hmm.
It's never over. It's never over, man. These kids need to understand that, you got to keep working. If you really want something, keep fighting for something. Be
Mm-hmm.
make your story something special somebody can read about. So no
Mm-hmm.
matter what it is. So that's one of the biggest lessons. And I'm still going. I still got goals. It ain't gonna never stop, and it ain't gonna never change.
No, I got you. Like I said, keep growing and keep grinding, man. That's my
That's right.
motto. That's my
That's right.
motto. So obviously, you said that you got a chance to play Atlanta summer league team and things like that. So what was your first professional year playing hoop? Was it in the States or was it overseas?
Oh, it was over here in the States. So I played in the D League in '06, '07, '08, '09.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of '08, '09. So my first couple of years is over here. I just wanted to get, my name familiar with the NBA because I played the NBA Summer League. So I played in the D League. I played it for a few different teams. I played for the Arkansas Rim Rockers, the
Mm-hmm.
Sioux Falls Sky Force, and then I played for the Idaho Stampede, and also played for a team that was called the Colorado 14ers, in which we went to the championship game. I played with one of my childhood buddies, Pooh Jetter. Shout out to Pooh Jetter.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
there. Yeah. So we went to the championship, and we ended up losing that championship, a tough one, tough series. But uh, I ended up doing that and got myself familiar, got my name familiar amongst the NBA scouts. So I kind of did it like that first. Like, everybody has a plan, and my plan was like, hey, let's do this. Let's chip away at this G League, this D League, and then branch out and do the overseas thing. So I did that, and prior to me going overseas, and I think the year after I went and played in Romania.
Oh yeah. Look, I played in Romania too, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I done forgot what city I was in. you know, because I was only there for half a season. But I remember
Mm.
Romania. It was
Yeah,
crazy,
yes,
straight up
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
place.
yes, it was a crazy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you obviously you played 3 years in G League, then you go to Romania. Then what happens after that?
So after that, I played the year, and I decided. I said to myself, like, now do I want to? Now I kind of made my name a little bit over in Europe, and I had plenty of opportunities to go back to Europe, get some more money, or even go Middle East, get even more money because they were paying more, and then other countries. So I pretty much had a decision to make, on what I wanted to do, and I just started looking at the bigger picture for myself. Do I want to keep doing this every year, not knowing which country I'm going to go play in, and then going over there, then coming back, and then saying to myself, what country I'm going to go to next? Or what do I really want to do in life? So I took some time and reflected, prayed on it, and I said to myself, I want to get into coaching. If I start I start getting the ball rolling now. When it's time, things will work out for me. So that's what I did. A lot of people ask me like, "Damn, how'd you move up in coaching ranks so fast?" Well, I started early when I could have been still playing.
Mm, okay, so you literally was
Yeah,
like, "F it, I'm done. I'm about to go and coaching right now."
yeah, yeah. I said, F it, man. I'm gonna go I went and took a grad assistant spot at the University of Wyoming. You know, I was
Wow. Okay.
I was probably like 28 years old. I did that, I was like, I'm about to just start. I'm gonna just start. I like the hoop, I love the hoop, but I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Hey, I mean, like I said, like I think that your story, that's what I wanted to get into, is one of those amazing ones because you already knew, like in the middle of your career, like, all right, I'm about to just bounce and go into my next level. I can do you can coach until you're 100. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So like, and you did it at a young age, and I'm like, for me, I
yeah.
had no idea what I was going to be doing. You know, it took me years,
Hmm.
stress, and all this other shit, you know what I'm saying, to figure out what it is I want to do. And I still didn't, you know what I'm saying, didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
in the
That
beginning,
that's
bro.
like,
Yeah, man. So
hmm
that's a blessing in itself, man. So let me ask you this, you know, based off your experience of what you did, what would be your best advice, for the next generation? What would be your best advice for the next Chad Bell?
well, devise a plan. Devise a plan and start thinking about what you really want out
Mm-hmm.
of life, and write a letter to yourself on how you're going to get to where you want to get to, and make a promise to yourself and sign it,
Mm-hmm.
and sign it, and stamp it, and stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just that
Mm-hmm.
simple. And once you figure that out, you got to spend every waking moment towards that goal,
Mm-hmm.
without getting derailed or sent in another direction. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
hit adversity. You're gonna hit some peaks. You're gonna have some really good highs. You're gonna be on top of the world sometimes, but continue to go forth with that. So when you do that, it kind of keep it. What it does, it keeps you on the right track. You know what I'm saying? Because we could easily get sidetracked,
Mm-hmm.
where we could get somewhere a lot quicker if we
Mm-hmm.
wasn't so easily distracted. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest advice to people.
I hear you. I hear you on that, bro. I hear you on that. So,
Hmm.
like, you start as a grad assistant in Wyoming, and then you move up to what was your next thing?
My next step, so I ended up returning to my alma mater at the University of Nevada, and I became the director of ops under a
Mm,
guy named David Carter, who was the head coach at the time. He invited me back. He brought me back, got me back into the program. I was a director of ops for 2 years. Uh, did a lot of stuff. I was a guy that was experienced in the program, so I knew what winning was like. And at that time, the program was kind of teetering a little bit at the time, so I was able to get in there and help David, and we got it back to how it needed to be, back to conference champions and things of that nature. and I was very instrumental. He let me do a lot. You know, I was very hands on. You
Mm-hmm.
know, in the ears of those guys. You know, telling them what it looks like every day, how practice should look like, how competitive practice got to be, how you guys, how we got to approach games and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I brought a tremendous amount of value because you know, they look at all the pictures in the hallways. I'm on there on championship pictures and holding up trophies. So they really respected my perspective. And you know, I was able to go there and have a lot of success for I think I was there for a couple of seasons.
Okay. That's cool, man. How did you was the Clippers job your first NBA job, or was it like just your current job now?
No, it was my first. So after I left Nevada, I ended up becoming a full-time assistant at the Southern Utah University in the Big
Okay.
Sky.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I got there and I worked for 3 years, worked my ass off, you know, did recruiting, I did everything. And,
Mm.
you know, coaches are hired and they eventually are fired. So I was just, so you know how that goes. So
Yeah, yeah.
I was in between jobs and I had to reflect like I always do. Like, what's my next move? What do I want to do? Do I want to join another college program? Because at this point, I had been a part of 3 college programs, and I said to myself, like, I want to give it a crack at the NBA. You know,
Mm.
so you know, I started moving around, going to different agency workouts and shaking hands with people. I was at the NBA Summer League, and I started running into some familiar faces, and I ran into a guy who I've known for years that at the time was working for the LA Clippers. And I just put the bug in his ear and said, hey, you know, if you guys have anything, I would like to kind of get involved with your player development program, even if that means just, you know, get it on the floor and bumping with the guys a little bit. You know, I'm available. So he said that it might be something available and, you know, let's stay in contact throughout the summer. And sure enough, they ended up hiring a guy to be over and direct the whole player development program. And I happened to know a guy who was connected to him. So not only my guy brings me in, but he also bring me in too. And me being the same guy, it kind of like everything tied together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I began volunteering and helping and you know, the whole time, you know, and kids should know this, you know, that are listening, youngsters that's listening, the whole time they're looking at my every step, you know, everything I do, evaluating everything I do, how I carry myself, how I interact with players, how I interact with other coaches, you know, constantly, you know, they're watching me, you know, just like they're watching the players, they're going to always be watching you. So, you know, thank the Lord. I was, you know, offered the opportunity and I've been doing it ever since, you know, and, you know, this journey, you know, it's been a journey of ups and downs and you
Mm-hmm.
know highs and lows. But you know, I really enjoy it, and I'm working for a really great organization, and I'm I'm in my 7th season now, so been rolling ever since.
Man, that is a crazy, crazy, crazy journey, bro. Like I
Yeah.
said, man, like, oh my God. Like, I know the only reason I said is like your journey, like the fact that you basically now doubled up your time from hooping to coaching, you know what I'm saying? And like you knew exactly what it is that you want to do, man. That's a hell of a blessing, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
let me ask you
appreciate it.
this. I do have a question for you, side question. Did you ever think like, man, like, you know, maybe like when you first retired or whatever, like, man, I could still bust these niggas. I could bust them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm better than him. I can go bust
Yeah,
them, dude. Let me
yeah.
come out of retirement.
Man, you have no idea. So especially when I first started coaching, like I used to play with the players, like, and sometimes they'll be like, "Damn, like you don't want to go play still,"
That's
and
what I
I'd be
said.
like, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Trav. Like I had a had a few days where I said, you know what? I think I'm about to go back overseas, man. And I said, no, 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 no. Stick to the plan. Stick to the
Okay,
plan.
okay,
Stick
okay,
to the plan.
okay, okay.
So I just kind of got my itches out by going to play pickup. I think even one year early on in my coaching career when I was doing college, I came home one summer and I played in the Drew League. So
Okay.
I kind of got my
Oh, you see, you got
itches
all of
out
it out.
too.
Like, let me get
Yeah,
all of it
yeah,
out. So I
yeah,
won't even think
yeah.
about it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
I do think it, and it's one of those things where, especially where I'm working now, wish I had that information, when I was a player, but that's how life works. You know what
Of
I'm
course,
saying?
of course,
Yeah.
of course,
So,
of course. So, like I said,
um,
it's all good, bro. Like I said, you still
yeah,
doing your thing. You living your dream, so it's all good, bro.
yeah, no
Um,
doubt.
I got one more question for you, then we're gonna wrap this whole thing up.
Okay.
Chad, man, at one point in our career or life, we have like, a low point. Now, I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get out of your lowest point? Was it God? Was it family? Was it all the above? Was it yourself? Or how did you get out and how did that help you now?
Man, number one, it was God, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've had times in this life, man. A lot of people don't know my story, man. I ain't have no job, no income coming in. A place to stay, but it wasn't mine. So I've had times where I had to really go to the Most High and ask Him to direct my path
Mm-hmm.
and to
Mm-hmm.
and to keep me. And then also, I got a good family structure. My wife, you know, being with me, it's shout out to my wife Jaylyn because uh, when you're a coach and you're if your husband is a coach, like you got to deal with a lot.
Man,
The
like
the
the travels,
schedule,
yeah, yeah, like just
yeah. So
here, yeah.
yeah, so just I'm going a lot, especially majority of the year traveling, and we got two kids, my son CJ, my daughter Jordan, and sometimes a lot of times she got to hold it down. So with that my family, but she always supports me.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got together was during the beginning of my journey with the coaching thing, and she was inspired by how I just, left everything and just took on the challenge and really pursue my dreams. So that my story kind of inspired her. But she's been on this journey along with me, the entire time. And when I've been at my lowest low, uh, it's funny, man. The power of God, man, the power of the Most High. You might not have been able to tell it, not having a job, not knowing where my next check's gonna come from. Because, when you're a coach, people don't understand you're an at-will employee. So
Mm.
anytime that organization feels they want to, they can cut ties and say thanks for everything and good luck with your next thing. And now you're scrambling for your next opportunity. So like I could not do this without my faith in
Mm-hmm.
the Most High and His Word, man. So that's what I always lean on. And then after that, He has blessed me with a beautiful support system with my family. You know what I'm saying? So
That's a
that's
blessing, man. That's a
yeah,
blessing. You know what I'm saying? Well,
yeah.
man, I want to say thank you again, Chad, man. I appreciate we finally linked up.
I
Chad was
know,
kind of
brother.
Hollywood me. He was Hollywood me
Nah,
in the beginning
nah,
of his
nah,
situation, man. Like,
no, man.
man,
I
I
apologize.
link up with I'm in season right now. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, nah. It wasn't. It wasn't nothing intentional. But I apologize, brother. It's just that's crazy. That crazy NBA schedule,
Oh no,
man. You
no,
think?
I'm just messing with you, bro. We all good. We all good. Well, obviously, I know you're in the playoffs and you're coaching. Is there anything else that you want people to know that you can shout out on the show?
Yes, definitely. I want everybody, if they have the opportunity, check out my podcast. It's called Time Out with Chad Bell. It's available on all platforms. Check it out on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify. Check it out. Once again, it's called Time Out with Chad Bell, and the focus on my show is the youth. So I kind of hinted towards that in our conversation. So I focus on having conversations that the youth can listen to and just get crazy gems. You know, I hope to have you on my show one day. Hopefully, you can tell your
Anytime,
story.
bro. I want Hollywood you. I will
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on anytime, bro.
Yeah, so you know, like we're very important, man. We're leaders. We're leaders. So I made the show for them, man, so they can hear our stories and our journeys and the things that we do and the methods every day and how to get there and not just the success stories, but also like the failures. Like how did you deal with that? So that's why I made the show, and I just, you know, my heart beats for the young people, man. I really spend a lot of time in the community. I'm involved. I'm involved in a profit called Inglewood Active Communities, where their focus is on dealing with the youth through sports and medicine and things of that nature. So I spend time doing events for them, and also spend time coaching in the Inglewood Youth League, you know, helping with my son's team, and also the Hawthorne, you know, youth basketball leagues, the Inglewood Baseball Youth League and stuff like that. So I just try to be involved as much as I can when I have the time and give back to the young people in the greater Los Angeles area.
Well, there you go, man. Like I said, he's a Jamaican when it comes to all these jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
has about has like 15 different jobs. So, like I said, check out his podcast, and if he wants me on, I'll come on anytime. I'll be honored to be on the show.
Appreciate that, brother.
You know, always. Once again, you can follow me at Travis W. Reed. That's REED, Travis W. On Instagram and on Facebook. I post pretty much all my social media on there. Just got a new Twitter account. Literally just got it, like probably like a couple weeks ago, whatever. So I didn't forgot the name of it, but I remember it and I'll put it in the description of the show. Yeah, so like I said, I don't have the shirt on right now, but if you're still looking for that Travis Reed Athlete's Journey merch, feel free to DM me or message me on Facebook and I'll send you it personally. All right. So like I said, thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.